We would like to get started again. Next up is Melikian. She's from Kharkiv in the east of Ukraine. She studied law at Kharkiv National University of Economics. She's been directly involved with the pro-European protests in her city. Please welcome Ms. Diana Melikian.
Hi everyone, I'm going to tell you the perspective of this revolution from the east of Ukraine, because I come from the city on the east, Kharkiv, which is here. So what's the problem with the east of Ukraine? Why is it different from the rest? Did they support the Euromaidan when it started or not? Do they want to be a part of Russia like it seems now, or is it not true? Do they want to be a part of Europe or not? Or do they want independence like what the referendum now is trying to make or not? Let's see. Okay, a little bit about me, Diana Melikian. If you find me on this picture, then you will believe that I was participating in the protest. This is a protest in Strasbourg, where I live now this year. I studied there. So I was born in Kharkiv. I don't know if you believe that this person and me are the same. I'm 23 years old, and 21 years of my life I lived there in Kharkiv. And only in the last 2 years I don't live there anymore because I study in Europe. It's a master. But I have a scholarship which allows me to go home anytime I want. So I go there really often, at least once in each half a year. So that keeps me connected to Ukraine still, and I can be considered as an internal participant and not an external one. Because, for example, since December, I already went there twice, so I know what I'm talking about. And I'm half Ukrainian and half Armenian. My mother is Ukrainian and my father is Armenian. But I lived my entire life in Ukraine. Okay. This quote, I don't intend to say anything with it, but it can be interpreted in different ways. Nobody wants to feel like he is manipulated with the media, not the Ukrainians of the West and not the Ukrainians of the East. And I don't want you to feel like you are manipulated by my story. Russian-speaking population in Ukraine. I was born in a city which speaks Russian, and I speak Russian as my mother tongue, and I speak only Russian, and I think in Russian, and I was speaking it my entire life. I went to a Russian-speaking school, even though we have most of the schools in my city are Ukrainian schools, but my mother brought me to the Russian school because we decided that it's better to study in your own language while studying in Ukrainian, while learning all those technical terms in Ukrainian. If I can study in Russian, it's better. So I never thought that the language can be a problem for Ukraine. Even though a big part of Ukrainian population speaks Russian as mother tongue, as you can see on this left map, the darker blue, the bigger the percentage of people for whom Russian is a mother tongue. And you see that in my city, in the Kharkiv region, 44% people say that Russian is their mother tongue. But it should be taken into account that the bigger is the city, the more Russian speakers. In a big city like mine, which has 1.5 million population, almost everybody speaks Russian. But if you go to the small villages, they speak more Ukrainian than Russian. So this is also, like, if you come to my city, it seems like, oh, but there are no Ukrainian speakers at all. And if there is somebody speaking Ukrainian, that means he comes from a small village. And on this map on the right, you can see the real data based on our Ukrainian-Russian Facebook. And the blue, which means that people use Facebook in Russian, and red means that they use Facebook in Ukrainian. So this shows how is the real situation. Because nobody's going to force people to use Facebook in a language that they don't want. So the question is, like all these people speaking Russian, do they really feel discriminated? Do they have any problems? Was there any real problem based on language? Or was it all made up? Or was it used just as a pretext to distract people's attention from real problems? First of all, is there even a problem for Russian speakers to live in Ukraine? Ukrainian and Russian languages, I found out that they have 86% of similar words. It doesn't mean that 86% of words are the same. They are pronounced differently and written differently, but they have the same core, let's say. As a comparison, Dutch and German, the same thing for them is like 70% of similarity. I don't know if it's real. Like I cannot say because I don't speak Dutch, don't speak German. But for Ukrainian and Russian, I can say that there is absolutely no problem for Russian speakers in Ukraine to understand Ukrainian language because they learn it from TV, from schools, from people in the streets. I don't remember a time when I didn't speak Ukrainian, even though nobody in my city speaks Ukrainian in daily life. But I don't remember the time when I wouldn't know it. I just know it somehow, so everybody understands it, even in the most Russian-speaking regions of Ukraine. And now closer to our revolution. When the revolution in Ukraine started, in my city, there was really nothing going on. This is our main square, and you can see a New Year tree, and you cannot see anybody there. Because people in my region are not really active, they are not very patriotic, they are more critical about everything, they have a more critical approach. And they were not really into this revolution, they didn't want to participate, they didn't want to be manipulated by anyone, they didn't believe anyone, they didn't like our president, but they were not really very much enthusiastic to go somewhere and protest. Many of them did not support the idea of European integration at all. They were thinking that signing an association with the European Union will not be beneficial for Ukraine because we have a lot of very tight connections with Russia. And if we try to connect more with the European Union, then the business, which was working with Russia, will be in trouble. So they were thinking from this point, or from this practical point, it's better just to stay like it was, to cooperate more with Russia, and there is not really a big problem if we don't sign association with the European Union. But still, the mayor of our city decided that to prevent people from going and protesting in the square, it's better just for safety to put this fence around the square. The interesting thing is that the name of the square is the Freedom Square. So this is a Freedom Square with a fence around it. And the only way like we could see the protest going on is that all these pictures and signs are saying Freedom Square, area of freedom. It's like, this was the way some activists were expressing themselves. And when I saw, at that time I was studying in France, and when I saw this, I saw the pictures of other cities of Ukraine full of people protesting, and I saw my city, nothing, or just like a little group of people, and I felt really disappointed, because of course, I'm pro-European, yes I am, and I would expect some more activism from the people of my city, and when I saw the absence of activism, I was really disappointed. And then I started talking to people, and I was trying to find out why nobody is engaging in protest, and people were saying, no, we don't care, we don't care about Europe, we don't want. Yes, people in the center and in the west, they want, but we don't. We are fine like we are, we don't want to change anything. And then I thought, okay, if they don't want to change anything, why should anybody force them? Then this is a situation where we cannot solve the problem. And I was saying, I was even saying, why don't we just divide Ukraine, and who wants to go with Russia goes with Russia, and who wants to go with Europe goes with Europe. If the opinions are so different, then why staying together? If the east of Ukraine started hating the west, if I see so much of hate speech, why keeping yourselves together? And I was thinking in such categories in the beginning. But then I saw that the protests, even in my city, started appearing. Here on the left you see the pro-European protest. And on the right, there was an alternative protest, which is called anti-Maidan. If this is Euro-Maidan, the alternative one is anti-Maidan. You see all those people in blue with really the same flags, wearing the same scarves and flags around them. And maybe you will think, are they really there? Are they really there with the picture of our former president Yanukovych? Are they really supporting him? Or are they paid to go to the square? Or are they forced to go? And what I can say from my personal experience, that one day I came home to talk in Skype with my family and to discuss the political situation, and my mother said, "Tonight I'm going to Kiev." I said, "Why?" And she said, "To protest in the anti-Maidan." I said, "What?" And she said, "Because we are forced by the director of the school." She's just a teacher in school, and like all the other teachers who work in this school, in the other schools of the region, whenever there is some protest going on, not just during this revolution, but also during the previous ones, they were forced to take these blue flags, to take this picture of Mr. Yanukovych and go and protest for him. And I told her, like, I got so mad at my mother, and I said, "You cannot go." And she said, "Okay, so I lose my job. If I don't go, I lose my job. So what am I supposed to do? I'm nobody. I don't decide anything. They told me to go, I will go." And she went. And they brought those, they bring teachers, they bring doctors from hospitals, they bring people from public sector. They bring them in buses. They brought them to Kiev. They were protesting there for one day, and then they brought them back. This was not a very pleasant experience for them, but especially it was humiliating because they are teachers who are supposed to teach children good values, and instead they are doing these shameful things. Also, they were doing several protests like this in my city, and my mother, one day she just refused to go, but the director told her to draw something on the paper, like saying, "We are against terrorism." And she had to do it, and she took a pencil, and she made it with a pencil, so it was completely not visible, and she gave it like that. Yes. But there are not only people who are forced, but also there are people who are trained to go to this alternative protest. For example, this woman, she was noticed on protests in different cities. In Kiev, in Kharkiv, in Odessa, in Kiev playing a role of a mother of soldiers, and this one also anti-Maidan, I don't know in which place. So she goes from one city to another, changing clothes and hairs, and she's not the only one. Like, I could find more pictures of such people, and she's crying. I watched this video. She was crying, saying how much they are suffering and how much they want Putin to defend them. So this is the proof. There are many proofs like that. So partly those alternative protests are made of people like these people, partly of people like my mother who were forced to go, partly of people who are just paid to go, but also partly of people who are really believing that it's better to be with Russia, and who are really believing that our former president was a good guy. So these people also exist. But the question is, how many? And what is the percentage of real protesters and not real ones? I see myself, I think, yes. This is me. In February, I came home for vacation, and I went to participate in the protests. I was not really afraid to go there, because I came to Ukraine just for 2 weeks, and I knew that in 2 weeks I'll be gone, and nothing will happen to me anymore. But the other people, like this girl, for example, she didn't want to show her face on the picture, because later the alternative side will search might search these people and there might be some harm done. I took some precautions also. In my profile in social network, I deleted information about my family, who is my brother, who is my mother, and I deleted all this. And I went there, and I took these pictures with these, these things written here to show which kind of people are there protesting, that they are not homeless, they're not alcoholics, there are many students, many young people with the normal faces also. Because when we are criticized by the alternative side, they say you go there because you are homeless, and you go there because you are unemployed and you are paid there. So I go there, and if I told them how much is my salary or my scholarship, they wouldn't believe that I actually do something for free and not for money. And these guys wearing masks. For example, this guy who might look a little bit dangerous, but I got to know him, and that's him, and he is a really fun guy and kind. And why he is sleeping here with this thing for defense? Because they were taking precautions, they knew that they could be attacked by the opposite side. And this is what really happened. This guy, one day he sent me a message, he asked me like if I'm coming today or not, and I said no, I can't come today because I have a graduation party in my university. And then when I came back from the party, I saw what happened to the people who went there that day. And including that guy, he called me and he told me what happened. So they were attacked by the opposite side, by the alternative protesters, by the pro-Russian activists. They were beaten and they were put on their knees and they were forced to apologize or whatever. And, nobody died on that day, but many people got heavily injured. And the purpose of this was to put this flag on top of our regional administration and take down the Ukrainian flag. And this person, this is a picture from his Facebook, from his Russian Facebook. He put this picture himself, and he is living in Moscow, and he wrote here, "We freed the Kharkiv administration and put a flag of Russia on it. Guess who done it?" And he doesn't even hide the fact that he is not local. And there were many buses with the Russian numbers in the city standing on that day. And there were many people walking around the city who didn't know the city, who were asking the streets, and who were using the words which we don't use. Since then, it started becoming easier for people to express their own opinion. People were already not afraid to take sides. And then I decided to make a questionnaire to find out about people's opinion if they want to become a part of Russian Federation or not. Because I thought it's about time to admit it already, in which side you want to be. And then I made this is from my profile, I made this questionnaire. And a lot of people shared, and a lot of people got really interested in it, and a lot of people voted. So 1,000 people voted here, but also I had to eliminate the votes which come not from Ukraine. There was an option to show who voted and who is not, because this was a questionnaire for only for Eastern Ukrainians, but some people from Russia voted. They were so interested, they decided to help us. And then after I eliminated a few votes, then this is the real result. So 907 people voted. Yes, 667. No, they don't want to become a part of Russian Federation. No. 73%. Yes, 18%. So there are people, there are young people who would like their town to become a part of Russian Federation. But how many? 18%. So let's admit it. And okay, of course, this is not a trustworthy research because this is my Facebook page. So I decided to search for a better source, and this is a research made by one Ukrainian media channel, and it shows very similar results. So maybe we are right, maybe this is true, that no, 69% don't want to be a part of Russia. Yes, 15% they want to be a part of Russia. And here on this map you can see results by regions. And in my region it's 65%, they want to remain Ukrainian citizens. In Donetsk, where a lot of people speak Russian, 52% want to remain Ukrainians. So it's not a big majority, but 52 is a majority. And if a real referendum was held and not a fake one, this would be the result. And still, I kept asking my parents to ask their friends. Yes.
What does it say about Ukraine?
About Ukraine, there is no data because this research was done in April, when there was no access anymore to this. This region was already included into Russia, and it was not possible for this media channel to go to the territory of Crimea. So there is no data. But I'm remembering that there was one research done earlier. And the results in Crimea, according to that research, was that something like it was like 47% of people in Crimea wanted Crimea to become a part of Russia. But, okay, this is like, I'm just remembering things. But the result for the whole Ukraine, they asked the whole Ukraine, do you want to be a part of Russia? 15% said yes. And in Crimea it was 47. But you don't have to believe me because this is like what I'm just remembering. This might be not precise. Okay, and also about discrimination of Russian-speaking people. Are Russian-speaking people having difficulties or not? And 71% of people replied that they don't have any difficulties. And since spring 2014, a lot of people started publicly expressing their opinion. My friends started saying how proud they are to be Ukrainians. If before they were keeping themselves neutral, they preferred just not to spoil their relationship with other people by expressing their political views. Now, they started taking side, and they are not afraid anymore to speak out and to put a picture like that shows that they are pro-Ukrainian. Some people, like this girl and that guy, they live abroad. This guy lives in Austria, this girl lives in Belgium, and they show with this map that with this flag that okay, she lives in Belgium now, but her heart is Ukrainian. Same thing with the guy. Also, some other people expressed their opinion differently. They delete me from their friend list. Because maybe they were fed up with the kind of things I was posting, though I tried to keep it not more than 3 per week. And they deleted me, but because they didn't like what I'm writing. But me, on the contrary, I would like to keep in touch with them because I want to know their opinion. And the opinion of some of them is very different from mine. There is one girl, I was really surprised, but it is an opinion and it exists. Now she lives in Switzerland and she is from Crimea, and she is really happy that Crimea has become a part of Russia. And she was posting really happy things and saying how much she's happy, and she was going to my page and commenting angry comments saying like, Diana, you don't know what you're talking about. So, and she's a very smart girl. So, I'm not saying that there are no people who would like to become a part of Russia. There are. But if we want to be fair, let's take into account the opinion of everybody, and let's follow what the majority wants. And then I understood, with all those questionnaires I made and the things I see now, I understood that even if before we had a lot of disagreements, like I lost several friends like that, just because of the question of European integration. We can have a lot of disagreements on the question, should we sign the association with the European Union or not? Should we sign a customs union with Russia or not? People have really different opinions about that. In the beginning of the revolution in my region, 70% of people did not want an association with the European Union. Yes, because they didn't think it's beneficial for Ukraine. But there are some questions which are above that, which are above politics, which are above economical questions like association agreement. And this is the question. Which citizen of which country do you feel yourself? What is your nationality? And when it comes to the question of what is your nationality and in which country you want to live, here we see completely different issue. And we see people united around one idea that no matter what, we are Ukrainians. And we want to remain Ukrainians. And this is the opinion of 70% of the people of my region. And searching for Europe, we found Ukraine. It all started like searching for European values and stepping on the other way of development. But during that, we found out that we are actually capable of changing something. And we are capable of changing our destiny, changing the destiny of our country. And right now, I think the most important result of the revolution is that people got inspired. People got the national idea we didn't have before, and people believe it. People believe that if they work hard, if they are active, they are capable of making a real change. For example, that guy, he's my friend. He said that he is ready to work for the Ukrainian government for free. Right now, he is on internship in Austria, but he wants to come back and work for the Ukrainian government, even if for free, because he thinks this is the right thing to do, and the country needs him right now. So even though, with all the human losses we had and all the difficulties we are facing right now, we don't know if the map of Ukraine will remain the same, if we will lose some territories and how many people more will die. But I'm sure that we are not gonna stop there. That what remains of Ukraine will grow and will develop. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Diana, for sharing with us your very interesting story and shining your light and the Kharkiv light on what's happening in Ukraine right now. Now we will move on to the question and debate section, which will be chaired by Deb van der Geld,